help you with boosting your immunity and help you with living in a way that supports your wellness. So that's why we have joined together with our team here. So all of our wellness events are wellness events. So the Oasis Palisades Retreat Collective, we want to support you in building your toolbox for living in a way that supports your wellness. So we've heard a lot of talk about immunity because this is a COVID-19 virus challenge that we have. And so beyond this current COVID-19 virus, I really want to help you with your immunity. And so does our team here. So Stephanie and Terry Allen are going to bring some tools too, because if we can manage our stress, our mental, emotional stress, and also our physical stress, any pain in our body. So Stephanie is a wonderful massage therapist. She's the co-owner of Oasis Palisades in Pacific Palisades, where we have our wellness live events usually. And so we usually have wellness evenings where we can offer treatments, but since we can't do that, we're offering you self-treatments you can do at home. So today, Stephanie, in a little while, is going to share some self-massage techniques to relieve any physical discomfort for you. That's also going to relieve, right, some also mental, emotional stress too. We always feel better after a massage. I know I'm missing my massages right now. I would love to be getting a massage myself. So this self-treatment will help you guys get that state change and feel better. And then Terry Allen is a wonderful author of children's books. She works with children and families on, again, mental, emotional management. How can we handle stress better, communicate better, get along better? Because again, when we handle our stress, we can be much more present in our relationships. We can be more supportive, right? More loving, get along better. And then we can show up better in life in general. So Terry Allen, besides that wonderful work that she does with children and families with her wonderful books, which I've given as a gift to my friends with their grandchildren and children. It's a wonderful experience. I enjoy her book too. Personally, I went through it as an adult. It helps you identify through imagery what is going on with you, and then you're better able to communicate that with your loved ones. So it's really for any age. I think it's wonderful for families. I've shared them with my friends. You guys are in for a treat. I'm so excited. She's going to share that information with us today. And so then we can also have a moment here too where I can help you identify some wonderful vitamins for immunity. And so there are things that we can take ongoing to support our immunity. I'm going to talk to you today about a very simple protocol from one of my colleagues. Dr. Pete Moran is a wonderful physician who has a practice in Southern California in the Newport Beach area. And he's been working in the ER for many years and also working with patients as an acupuncturist. One of the things that has come to a head over the last few years, I'm sure you guys have heard about, is the opioid crisis for chronic pain. So when we keep taking painkillers, eventually our body builds a tolerance to them and they no longer work for us at the same dosage, and we have to keep taking more until there's a point where we can't take any more of these medications because they become toxic and they can cause literally organ failure. So it's too hard on our organs like our liver to take strong medications long term. And so there are other alternatives to that. So that's one of the things that Dr. Pete Moran helps patients with, is how to detox from those painkillers and how to use things like lifestyle, nutrition, like this vitamin protocol, right? To reduce inflammation, to reduce pain, to stay healthy. And then someone like me as a colleague can come in and offer acupuncture, for example, as boosting the endorphins, natural painkillers, increasing circulation and reducing inflammation as well from the treatment, so that we can, again, take those pain levels down to build quality of life too. So there's always these two dynamics here. How do we live in a way that supports our wellness, right? We want to have our immunity be strong so we're not getting flus and colds, but there's also the other side of it. When we get this vital nutrition within our lifestyle, it also can reduce inflammation and reduce pain as well. So there's always more than one benefit. That's what's so cool about nutrition and lifestyle choices. So when we de-stress and we handle our mental, emotional challenges, then that also reduces our pain too and increases our energy. And whenever anything is helping to boost our immunity is built in our gut. So we have better digestion, we get nutrients from our food better, we have more energy. So I'm very excited to share this vitamin protocol. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the big screen with the list for you with the dosages that I was very grateful to have shared with me from Dr. Moran. So I am going to share this screen. Let's see, let's go here. And we're going to look at these vitamins. And we're going to go here. Thanks for your patience as I get this up on the screen for you. I thought I had it easier here. Let me go here.
No worries.
Video. This is part of the tech experience. Thanks everybody for your patience.
And in the meantime, you can just take a deep breath and let it out.
Yeah, that's always a good idea.
Take another one.
Another big deep breath. Okay.
And out.
So we're talking about vitamin C, quercetin, vitamin D, and zinc. And so I'm going to skip ahead for a moment. This is Dr. Moran. And this is a wonderful 5-minute video that he had created. And I'm just going to go up to a moment where he shared his screen. And what's wonderful is all of these are very easily accessible vitamins that we can buy online. Even on my website, chillaxome.com, I have a shop online page. I can actually offer my patients a 20% discount on their vitamins and supplements with all of the wonderful practitioner. When a brand of vitamins and supplements is a practitioner brand, like a Thorne, like a Pure, those are very well researched and tested to be highly absorbable. So this is the screen here. So when we look at quercetin, we can do a daily, everyday dose to prevent flus and colds. It's a 500 milligram dosage of quercetin. 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. I'm sure you guys have heard about that quite a bit. That's what's in the Emergen-C, for example. That's the recommended vitamin C for maintenance immunity. Then you can take 5,000 IU of vitamin D. Most of us don't get in the sun for a half hour without sunscreen for our body to make enough of its own vitamin D. So most of us are deficient. The 5,000 IU of vitamin D can be very helpful. One caveat about the 5,000 IU is when you get your blood work done, your complete blood count you get from your primary care physician for your yearly checkups, go ahead and ask them to check your vitamin D level if you're taking 5,000 regularly. We don't want that to build up in our system too much. If you take over 2,000 IU for a long period of time, it might build up. But right now, of course, we are in this virus challenge and we want to boost our immunity. And so we can boost up that vitamin D to 5,000 IU from 2,000 for the next 1, 2, 3 months, even 6 months, in order to keep us in a good spot of resistance. And then we have the zinc picolinate. Now there's different kinds of zinc. When you see supplements, you'll see they're in different forms like citrate, picolinate, glycinate. It's a different chemical composition. The picolinate zinc has again been researched to be the most absorbable. So when we take a supplement, we want it to be the most absorbable. If it's not in an absorbable form, maybe we'll only get 30% of what we take. So if we get a highly absorbable form, we'll get 90% zone, right? So we actually take in what we want. So these four things, the quercetin, vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc picolinate, that first line there, that's an everyday dosage that you can take for prevention. And then it's just once a day. And so depending on which supplement you buy, again, you always want to look at the back when you see the second column here about dosage. It'll tell you how many capsules you have to take of this quercetin supplement to be 500 milligrams, right? So then if it's 500 milligrams per one capsule and you want to take 2 grams, which is 2,000 milligrams, so 1,000 milligrams makes 1 gram. That's really important. Sometimes supplements are annoying because they'll change the way that they're measuring it. So that's important to remember. 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram. So if you want to take 2 grams, it would be 4 capsules of the 500 milligrams per capsule of the quercetin. So that's just one caveat I like to point out. Now, when we go down at the bottom of the page, so an active treatment means you're having minor symptoms of flu and cold. So you're going to just up your dosage from what you were taking as a regular immune boosting preventative dosage. And so that just means that you're taking it in the morning and the evening. So you're doing almost the same thing, just doubling it up. So there's 3 tiers here. So this everyday dosage, you just take 1 course once a day of 500 milligrams of quercetin, 1,000 vitamin C, and 5,000 vitamin D I use, and the 25 milligrams picolinate. Now we're in this virus prevention, so we just updated that a little bit. We're just taking the 50 milligrams of zinc, so 2 capsules, right? We're taking more vitamin D, actually up to 20 IUs, 20,000 IUs of vitamin D. So this is a prevention for a period of time for 7 days. And then you can drop back down to the everyday dose. So like if we're going to be really active, we're going to go out, run errands, go shopping, right? If we have a period where we're going to be going back to work soon in a few weeks, then you could do a higher prevention dose above the everyday dose at the first part of the page. And then if we start to have symptoms, you're just going to take more. And that's at the bottom here. And you're going to take it twice a day. So you're going to take the prevention dose twice a day if you have symptoms. And then you just take for 3 days in a row and then off 3 days. And then go back to the everyday dosage. So we just give a little boost like an antibiotic, a natural antibiotic, so to speak, antiviral, just really super boosting our immune system to handle those symptoms, to kick out that cold or flu that started to take us on in as little as a few days of making the change. So I hope this is helpful to you. Also, you can learn more about Dr. Moran and his practice. LongevityHealthcare.com is his website. Also, if you go to the MuranMethod.com as well, MURAN method.com. That's the program that he has for detoxing from the opioid pharmaceuticals. It's a really innovative program. It safely detoxes people naturally with these types of vitamin, mineral, IV infusions, and then people have no more cravings for the drugs, and also really reduce so much of the inflammation that was causing their pain from going through this program. And it only takes literally it's within a week or 2. It's quite fantastic. So I wanted to share his resources with you. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So I hope that is very helpful to you. If you haven't had a regimen or weren't clear on a regimen of vitamins for you to take for immunity, that can give you a nice foundation that's easy to buy at health food stores, online, pharmaca.com, on Amazon. And 2, if you go to my website, chillaxome.com, I can give 20% off of supplements to all of my patients when you buy through my portal too. I want to make things more accessible to you guys.
That's really extremely helpful because I hadn't heard of the quercetin, um, and I didn't really realize about the vitamin D. They're talking about the zinc and the vitamin C.
Yeah, we hear a lot about that, right? But maybe not enough about vitamin D.
Well, for this protocol, as a protocol for this, of course, it's important for women, vitamin D and sun and blah, blah, blah. But for what we're going through now, I didn't know that is part of the protocol.
Vitamin A too, wasn't on his list, but vitamin A too has been recommended at 10,000 IUs.
Mm-hmm.
So
question, if somebody is taking a multivitamin that has D in it already, is that enough D or that?
No, the minimum daily values are the minimum amount of any of these vitamins to avoid certain diseases, but not to boost immunity, right? So a multivitamin is like the basics to fill in gaps of basic nutrition, but they're not at levels that are necessarily going to enhance our quality of life, our body's performance, our immune system. They're just basic to kind of keep us at a baseline. So most multivitamins will only have the 400 IU recommended daily value of vitamin D. Some multivitamins, when you look on the back, notice they might put in 1,000 or 2,000 IUs of vitamin D. So in general, we don't go out in the sun, and if we do, we wear sunscreen, right? And so we don't get that exposure of the sun on the skin for our body to make enough vitamin D. So it's recommended to take at least 1,000 and honestly, generally 2,000 IU of vitamin D as a maintenance for, like you said, especially for women's health, for hormones, for mood support, and for some immunity boosting. The 2,000 IU is the level that's recommended you can take without monitoring your blood work. We monitor the blood work because vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin like vitamin A. And if we take a super high dose long-term, it can build up in our system too high and become toxic. So that's why I suggested if you do this immune boosting protocol, this is for 3 months, right? Like through flu and cold season, like 6 months, right? And then if you took the higher dose, like he had suggested, if we're going up to something like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 vitamin D to temporarily boost our immunity, like through the COVID virus prevention or flu season, then we stop, right? After 3 or 6 months, we stop after the winter, for example. And then when we get our checkup, we can have it added to our complete blood count, CBC, general blood work, basic test. Just ask your doctor to add it on. I took extra vitamin D, right, during the flu season all winter. Can you check to see what my levels are? Make sure they're okay. Because then you just would drop it down again to your multivitamin, not take extra. Because that's just the minimum basic maintenance amount. So we don't need to do super amounts all the time, only like for special occasions, like right now to boost immunity. Same idea with the vitamin A for boosting immunity. It's 10,000 IU vitamin A, but like this D for a limited time. Maybe we'll do that right for the next like 2 or 3 months. Like once this shelter at home order ends and we're going out right into the world and we haven't been exposed to any microorganisms, bacteria, viruses in the environment and other people, that's a lot for our body to handle. So we want to do this kind of immunity boosting, right, protocol for us to make this transition to being out in the world again, because that's how our immune system is strong, naturally builds itself by exposure, right? We can't shelter at home forever. We can't prevent exposure from any of the, right? There's millions of good and bad and microorganisms of all kinds we get exposed to in the world. So it's about being strong,
Mhm.
It's about making our immune system strong. So we
So
can
there's a lot of people that don't take any vitamins at all, and they say they eat healthy. So for the person who is listening to you and is hearing about those four things, are are those like the place to start? Is that the place to
Yes,
start?
yes, especially in this time, in this situation, I wanted to share this protocol. Like, just start with here, these like four things. Keep it
Mhm,
simple and
mhm,
realize that you're doing this for a limited time. So,
mhm,
as we transition out of shelter at home to go back into the world again, our immune system's been weakened by not being exposed to things. So, let's go back in safely. So,
mhm,
let's take a protocol like this for the next 3 months. Get through this, right? Get through this transition, make sure we're strong. Now, one of the things that I also offer in my practice, and that I love, that anyone, you don't even have to go through a primary care physician to have access to labs anymore. This is very exciting, because if you have a healthy diet, you may be deficient in a certain vitamin or mineral, and it may affect your immunity and other things, other conditions. So you want to find out. Now, I can order lab tests that are kits to be sent to your home. You can take it home, mail to the lab, micronutrient deficiency tests. So we can test a full panel. Let's see. Where are you at whatever age you are, with whatever diet you have, whatever supplements you're taking? Even if you've been taking supplements, I recommend doing this because you might be taking things you don't need. So
mhm,
let's find out, and only have you buy the ones that you need to focus on, and not keep buying a whole bunch of things you don't need to spend money on. So
mhm.
one of my favorite ones is a micronutrient deficiency test from SpectraCell Lab that a physician can order for you. It's a little pricey. It's $290, but I could spend $290 on supplements for a month or two that I don't need. So I like the idea of, if you take this once a year, you can evaluate what you're doing, get rid of things you don't, focus on what you need. But you don't have to go through someone like me in order to have this test. There is it's not, the panel isn't quite as big. That's why I like the SpectraCell one, because so far for me, it's the largest panel that I found of
Mhm.
all the vitamins and minerals, right? But there is a pretty good one from everlywell.com. So Everlywell is ever, Everly, well, WELL.com. Anyone can go to this website and you can order one of their lab kits to be sent to your house. You take it at home, you mail it back to them, and in 5 to 7 days, they email you your results. And they have a micronutrient deficiency test. They also have many other tests, like we can test at home too now with test kits, hormone levels, right? So in this situation where we've been sheltering at home, like I do virtual consults, so does our other team member, Dr. Tiari, right? So we can order labs for you, go over labs for you, answer questions. All this can be done at home. You can go get an Everlywell test yourself. You can see information, then schedule an appointment with your doctor, someone like me or Dr. Tiari. We can go over your results with you. So you don't have to put all of these wonderful diagnostic labs that can measure if your treatment plan is working, right? Or define what treatment plan you need on hold just because we're sheltering at home. This could be, again, a good opportunity for us if we are at home and our schedule has changed. We can take the time to take one of these tests and see where we're at. If there is any, this is what Dr. Tiari, I think she said last week or the week before on our Wellness Wednesday, if there are any pre-existing health conditions you have, this can be a great opportunity, right? To focus on that and handle it. And so these at-home lab tests can help us do that. The virtual consults with doctors like me can help you right now, even though we're not leaving our house.
Mhm.
We can start to handle these things, and then start some simple protocols and a treatment plan. And what I love about the labs is you do a plan, right? You take these vitamins for 3-6 months, then you can test it again and make sure, okay, I got enough. I'm done with this. I'm going to move on to something else I need to focus on. So we can just be very aware that what we're doing is productive, getting the results that we wanted from doing it, right? And measure that and then see what else we need. So that is all available to us now. I love this time being alive. We do have some great tech, right? And resources and labs, and we can still get stuff done on this magical, right, internet superhighway.
Maybe next week you can talk about, because I could definitely use this information in the same lines of what you're doing now. I'd like to be more clear on gut health, because they say it's all in the gut. And if your gut isn't healthy, which I do have some digestive issues, acid reflux, diverticulitis, things like that. So that's a little interesting because, you try and you think you're healthy and you're doing the right things, but honestly, if your gut is not healthy, then perhaps you're not as healthy as you think you are.
I totally agree. And that's what's so wonderful is we can learn how to listen to the symptoms our body is sharing with us, asking for attention. So the whole thing is, an acupuncturist studies Western and Eastern medicine, and our toolbox is based on lifestyle changes as treatment for a large extent, right? So I keep saying this phrase, are we living in a way that supports our wellness is the number one question. So if your body's giving you symptoms, right, it's not a one size fits all. So there are other wonderful tests like food sensitivity tests. Now, there might be some healthy foods, right? You read about in a magazine, your doctor tells you about, you see on Dr. Oz, but when you eat it, you get a reaction, right? That's what our gut's telling us. Well, not in my body. I don't respond well to that. So that's not a one size fits all checkbox, right? I have food sensitivity. So I am personally that kind of person. Many healthy foods that other people can eat, I can't eat. I have a reaction.
Yeah, I'm the same as you.
Right?
For me, I can't even do raw like salads and stuff.
Exactly.
I have to have cooked food.
And then too, if you were going to eat something raw, do you have some backup? Do you take digestive enzymes when you're going to eat out of the box?
Yeah,
right?
I do, but still it just doesn't. When I lived in Asia for 8 years, the Asian guy told me you're not good with salads and things like that.
Yeah.
You don't do dairy, right, Terry?
No, I've got an allergy. I've got lactose to dairy, but so I don't do that. Yeah.
So that's the thing we can identify. I have a laundry list of things I can't eat.
I think I'm doing so good because I don't cookies
corn,
and
right,
and all that, but
Well, it's very insidious because we can have health foods that don't have those things in it that you are well aware of, right? Not to eat, but there are additives, things like tapioca, for example, as an additive can act like glue in our gut and in our intestines and prevent absorption of nutrients. Now, would you think tapioca could do that? Have you heard that from anybody, right? So that's the thing. We have a wonderful world of lab testing to identify food sensitivities and the inflammatory response that your body has to these foods to identify these insidious ones. Because there's actually, again, a wonderful test I recommend to my patients in this scenario. There's one for 22 top foods that cause inflammation, but there's one for 132, right? So if I did the 22 test and I cut those out of my diet for 2 weeks and I still have symptoms, right? For 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, there's still something going on, right? So then I up the ante. All right, I'm going to go for the 132 test now because something's going on. What is it, right? And so that's the thing is that the process of diagnosis is always, it's like a detective story, right? So one step at a time, we can drill a little bit deeper. Because then too, are there genetic conditions that will prevent absorption of certain nutrients? Like one of the buzzwords has been MTHFR. If you can't absorb certain B vitamins like B12 and folate, that's a problem with your metabolism, with your energy metabolism, with your digestion. That's a problem. Your nervous system becomes hypersensitive. It's harder to process stress. If it's harder to process stress, then you're shutting down your digestive system. So we have to unravel, is it the foods or is it a stress management issue like the tools that you guys are going to share today? Because again, are you hypersensitive to
it's a
stress?
combination of both.
It usually is.
Yeah.
It usually is. So if you take a special methylated form of B12 and folate that you can finally absorb, you handle your stress better, right? You eliminate some of the food allergy issue. You make sure your other vitamins are in check, right? These are all the puzzles, right? These are all the puzzle pieces that we put together, because again, it's not if you're still having symptoms after all you've done, then yes, that's our job as a physician to help drill down. Okay, so then what is your unique puzzle for you to have the best quality of life, right?
It's interesting for me as a massage therapist, I would get really interesting wrist pain or like different types of pain. I have a chiropractor that I worked for 18 years before opening Oasis, and I still see him. So I've known him over 30 years, and it's amazing. He does applied kinesiology. So he muscle tests and then adjusts. So he does the activator and the muscle testing. And that's the type of chiropractic that I'm familiar with, not just like,
yeah.
You know, I have always been around where your body tells you where you need adjusting. And then he checks all your organs and your muscles to see where you're weak. And almost every time when I've got something weird going on in my body, it'll be a ligament issue or something. It has to do with the adrenal glands for me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like my adrenals could just take a dive. So, okay, you know, too much coffee, too much stress, too much both of those things, and the adrenals go bye-bye.
Yeah,
You know?
when you have adrenal burnout, because they spiked out of control, right, from those things.
Yeah.
And they shut down your immunity, shut down your digestion, makes more inflammation, more pain, right? Until then they totally tank out. And now, you know, you're drinking the coffee because, I don't know, I like to call it, I can feel like a zombie. I'm dragging myself through the day when you have a adrenal burnout. Yeah, that's tough.
I always go back to Tiari about listening to your body, because I have a lot of things I hearing my body say, but then, okay, well, what do I need to do about that, you know?
Yes.
So maybe that'll lead into me, because I know
I think we should have you do,
So I've been doing massage for over 30 years, and I specialize in working with people with pain and with cancer. And you know, people say, what type of massage do you do? And I'm like, I really don't know. I pretty much have the same routine of massage, but what I'm doing during that time, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know that I always focus on the same acupressure points, the same, like I could be doing, you know, listening to the person's body and just doing whatever. But I always tend to go to those major important acupressure points to make sure that I always, you know, cover those. I'll do a little bit of self massage for us, and if you guys want to follow along, that'd be great. And then I'll just go over the points that I always make sure that I do, and of course I won't know every single point by name like you would, Andrea. I just know how in the heck, I want to know how in the heck do acupuncturists like you and Tiari and Tony remember the name of every single point. I still get confused about, I mean, you know, I've been doing this a long time, but it's like the meridians and the points, and especially the herbs, like the Chinese herbs, all the different, I mean, Tony has a whole pharmacy of herbs at Oasis Palisades, and it's like, that's a lot to remember.
Yeah, it's years of discipline, study over and over and over and over again. It's
But I know very well where the points are, but I don't always know the name of them. So, or where they're, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. So, when I am doing massage, normally I start with my clients face up. For some reason, I do that because I like to end on the back with hot towels and just have
it's good
people,
actually.
just even though they're going to leave with a face, like sometimes every once in a while, we're like, oh, I have an appointment. Can you like start with me face down? So when I'm face up, it'll go away. But my protocol always is to start with my clients face up, which will be interesting because I'll start on their neck and just do their neck and all their, their shoulders and their neck and their points on their chest and, K27 and open. So that's where I start on somebody. I have them face up and I'm doing their neck and their shoulders and their chest. That's where I start with somebody. And it's going to be interesting when we come back from this, COVID-19 break of how it's comfortable it's going to be. Am I going? Because when I'm sitting in a chair, with somebody right there, and how it'll be very interesting. Like, will I not do that for a while? Or will I wear a mask? Will I wear gloves to give a massage? I don't know what the new normal will be. And I guess that time will tell. I don't know.
Well, if you don't wear gloves, whether it's gloves or hands, you just wash them. You just use the
you just wash. Yeah.
And we can all put in some long-term sanitation, right, practices, safety protocols. So you can wear a mask and then just wash your hands after. You're going to sanitize the room.
Every once in a while when I had to wear a mask, I'm going to have to start wearing a mask around the house just to get comfortable with it because I have a little bit of claustrophobia, or in the past, I tend to have a little bit of claustrophobia. And even in the past, when a client maybe has shown symptoms of being sick, I've worn a mask and then all of a sudden I can't breathe and I can't, I have to open the door or have a little mini freak out to myself. But the new normal, breathe and receive.
Also the more paper surgical type masks. So the one I buy for my clinic, it's a thinner one. It's easier to breathe through. So you want to experiment with the masks in order to find the one that lets you breathe the easiest. Because that makes a difference. Yeah.
So I have my clients face up and I start on their head and neck and shoulders. So why don't we just, I know that there is a acupressure point on the very top of the head. So if you go from where the holes on your ears are and you go straight up, what point is that, Andrea?
That's DO20. DU20, DO20 on the Do channel.
Okay. So that is a great point. And if I'm not mistaken, every single point that goes, all the meridians in the body, all the kidney, lung, stomach, gallbladder, triple warmer, all the meridians.
Yes, they all meet there.
All meet right there. So
it's called the 100 meeting point.
The 100 meeting point. So that's just a great place to begin. And then on the back, the base of the skull, like right going all the way back at the base of the skull, there's a point there that is great. So you're right in the center, pushing.
Yeah, you can feel that little bone, that little like a cliff, and then right at that cliff. Yeah, at the occiput.
So that is a great point. If you have all these points, it would be great if you have a headache or anything. But if you just go in the back of your head, right down from the center to the base of the skull, that's just a great point. And you can do them both at the same time. And you can even take your thumb and you feel the groove there. So that's just a great point that you can be holding and pressing and massaging. The point in the back of my thumb, I'm massaging and I'm going clockwise. Can you tell us why sometimes you want to go, like with the kidney 27, sometimes you can go clockwise and sometimes you can go counterclockwise. Do you want to explain why that is, Andrea? Clockwise?
So with the type of rotation, whether it's a needle or it's acupressure, when we go clockwise, we're tonifying. You want to build the energy up. If we have an excess, like for example,
well, she's talking about that. Why don't we do our kidney 20, nipple
Yeah.
line, kidney 27. This is a great point for our lungs and for our immune system. We want to do that every day. And you want to go clockwise, I would imagine here.
clockwise to boost.
Tonify.
Yeah.
And if you're having symptoms of lung, then do you want to go the counterclockwise or?
Yes, because then if there's an excess there, then we want to reduce. So then the counterclockwise is to reduce.
But right now we're going clockwise.
Mm-hmm.
So the clockwise is for tonifying, and then the counterclockwise if there's an excess.
Yeah, to sedate the excess, quote unquote. So we either tonify to boost or sedate to reduce the excess. Yeah.
So funny when I have somebody face up and I'm doing their neck and then I go for that point there. I always ask permission first. One time I touched some woman and she had a freak out.
Yeah, because it can be a shock. We don't necessarily, that's the thing about maybe we don't ever touch this point. We never thought about what it can do to open up all of the circulation in our chest and bring oxygen and nutrients.
I know, it's a really great point.
And we could be ticklish too. It's good to tell people so.
Right. So then another point. So I guess I'm not going to do so much self massage. I'm just going to really more talk about the different points. So one of the things that is good to do is to just kind of like where your hair part. So you want to just go do some raking down from the center. It just opens up if you have any stagnant energy going on in your brain. There's an amazing healer lady I know named Donna Eden.
Yeah.
And I love her so much. But she says sometimes our energy can be, I forget, like twisted or something. Or it's not twisted, there's a different word, like it's switched. Our energy pathways could be switched and we don't even know it. That's the first thing most holistic chiropractors check for, to see if your energy system is switched. So like Dr. Beto will do some point here and then muscle test to see if your body is switched or not switched. And if it is switched, stuff like this can just, unswitch you and get you back into the right energy. So we're going to just do some raking down and you go all the way to the back from the center, going just to release. And you could take that all the way down. So it's just a good way to just, you feel so relaxed. You just take from the hairline to the center and then just take it all the way going back. And then you can take it all the way from your neck, just put your hands together and then you can do one side switching down, and you can just like use your fingers as like a hook and you can just take all this shoulder stuff. Gallbladder, was it 21 or whatever, right?
Feels so good. So that's where all the knots are.
Right. So if you measure from all of these points have measures, like fingers, 2 fingers here and 3 fingers there. So if you just take from your earlobe straight down to your shoulder, that's where your point is. And you can just feel the knots there and massage. Another great master point on the face is where your eyes are, and you go so from the eyeball and you go down to your cheekbone and you go up underneath.
Yeah.
That's a great point for all of your face and to just de-stress and relax.
It will reduce wrinkles too and make better circulation, give your skin a glow. It's one of the facial rejuvenation acupuncture points. And
yes, Andrea is the queen of acupuncture facial. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Glow.
I can't
And-
wait for my next one. So, all right, so that's a great point. Let's talk about the lung point, because lung point is really great. I used to think it was, so you've got your armpit crease here. I thought it was 4. I always measured before 4 fingers, and that's where it is. But I read somewhere recently that it's only 2 finger lengths.
Yeah, 2.
So from your crease, you measure 2 fingers on your chest, and you go in, and it's actually a very tender, important point. It's called lung 1. So you go 2 fingers from the armpit, 2 fingers from the armpit, and you massage there. And this point, honestly, I will tell a confession, a weird confession. I was let's just say I was having an acupuncture treatment, put it that way, which I was with someone, and they were rubbing this point for me, and just all of a sudden, I don't even know why, because it was a very awkward moment, to just break down in crying. Like this lung point, lung 1, is where we hold and store emotions in our body. Can you explain more about that, Andrea? Like why? How would that even be? Like it's just nonsense, mumbo jumbo. But this is tender. Like this is really tender for me.
Yeah.
And you want to apply good pressure, and you can even just like if you're like crawling with your fingers, kind of thing. And this is also good for the lymph, right?
Yes, because our whole lymphatic node cluster is under the arm, so that's a big drainage point. So
yeah,
you want to the pressure. Massage is so health affirming because any pressure pushes inflammatory fluids and waste products we don't need into the lymph system to clear out of our body. So if we never had the garbage truck come to the neighborhood, how would our streets be? Same in our body.
Be mindful of time. I'll continue next week with more points, but and then we'll introduce Terry. But before we do, can you explain why an acupressure point can affect you to break down crying, like how this point can store emotions in the body?
Well, I'm sure Terry will speak to this too, because we are mental, emotional, physical, spiritual beings. These parts are not separated. So when we have a thought that creates an emotion, it goes to a place in our body physically, and we will have tension there. So from the tension, when we go into stress response, fight or flight, we hunch forward, we tense our whole body, our scalp, our shoulders shrug up, we tense our face, right? We clench our jaw, we tense our hands and our feet. We lock down because we're going to defend ourselves, right? Like a boxer. And we breathe shallow. And so all of this gets locked in. There's no flow, no circulation, right, of any of our physiological fluids, blood flow, oxygen. Things can't move. So that creates a block. So like you said earlier, our whole system of circulation is not just physical, but it's also mental, emotional too. So we'll lock in emotions. We don't express them. So part of, right, when we sigh to release stress, we're releasing both physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual stress, emotion. And that's a healthy thing that we all need to do as humans. But we'll hold on to that in our body. Just like we don't necessarily have important conversations for certain reasons, right? We can hold emotions in our body, and the longer we hold them, in traditional Chinese medicine, we're not separating, right, psychology from physiology. They do affect each other. That's the mind-body connection. So if we have unresolved issues, mental, emotional issues, they will make symptoms in our body like tension, knots, tightness, right? Affect our energy. We talked about earlier the adrenal burnout. We're making the wrong stress hormones, not the right hormones that direct our healthy functions, right? So that continues. So when we look at stress as the root cause of all disease, it is on a mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical level. Stress will stop the flow of everything, our healthy release of emotions and also healthy circulation, hormones, and organ function. So that's how stress causes physiological, physical inflammation that is the root of all of the diseases that kill us. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on. So the healthiest thing you can do, if we treat our body, that helps our mind and emotions, right? Release. So like the meditation that Terry's going to do, when we release all the tension from our body that you did with the massage that made the emotion come out when you cry, right? You let all of that go. You feel lighter, more free, more at peace. That's what we're going to do with the guided imagery meditation. So there's many ways to get there, right? We can do it with massage. We can do it with acupuncture. We can do it with yoga. Terry's going to take us there now. What we can do with emotion. And also that's part of what her children's books are offering too. We can go at the body to treat the body from the mind with the children's books of understanding ourselves better and better communication. Then we can soften the body with the guided imagery meditation that then opens ourselves up, right? To be more aware, right? Have better thoughts, solutions to problems, better conversations. So let's give this to Terry now, because yes, how do we clear these emotions, these conflicts with your books and our family, and how do we de-stress with your meditation?
Well, as you guys know, I work intuitively the way that I work. So a lot of people do not understand where the emotions are, or they don't see them, or they're just not aware of them. So when I'm working with people, I do like to tune in, whether it's an adult, child, teenager, it doesn't really matter really, and tune into them and help them to access and release their emotions where they're held within their body. And you're right, it's through their thoughts, through their words, through how they're feeling. So I'm co-author of 2 children's books, My Magical Garden and My Magical Tree. And what makes these books different is the fact that as you go through the pages of the books, you do the poems with your child, but as Andrea says, it doesn't really matter what age you are. I use them on myself. We use them as a family. I know grandparents have used them. All ages have bought these books and come back and use them. So it's just basically a mindfulness book which connects you back to nature, which we have a massive connection to nature because we are from and a part of nature. So you go through the pages of the book with your child and you make choices on every page. It depends on what book you're using. And as you're going through the pages of the book, the child and yourself, you're going on a guided mindfulness awareness. So basically you're guiding your child to go to that place in their mind in order for them to calm themselves, center themselves, ground themselves, but also for them to be quiet, to listen. Because when we're quiet and we really listen to our inner selves, is when we know when we have an emotional blockage or what we know we need to release or where we're at. So you're teaching a child to read themselves from within through the mindfulness and the activity of both books. But then the flip side in the back of the book is everything the child or teenager or adult, whoever's using it, has chosen. It tells you in the appendix where you are emotionally, where the child is emotionally within themselves, and what holistic tips that you can bring in order to help to balance or release the child's emotions. Because as we know, it's hard sometimes for adults to access their emotions or where they're at, or they don't want to go there, so they create a story over here. A child does not know how to express and does not know how to communicate to that parent. And so they get frustrated, they get angry, they get tearful, they get frustrated, they eat more. It may be many different emotional levels. So you're helping the communication within the family, within yourselves, because it's going to be an open discussion, because whoever's doing it with the child, whether it's a therapist, a teacher, educator, whoever it may be, can use it as a tool to open up the communication as to where emotionally you're feeling and where you're at, but also gives them a massive guideline for them to understand their child a lot better. But then also you can use it as an activity, so it's mindfulness, you're creating that positivity in your mind, somewhere beautiful to go. It should be magical, it should come to life. And then also, you know, they could do their drawings with it. And there's a guided meditation, each book you can download that comes with both books. So again, you're teaching the child to become self-aware, to be mindful, to put positive. And also what I like is the fact that you're teaching your child at an early age to choose what they want to put in their mind. That's really important. What are you putting in your mind? And that goes across the board from children to adults. It's what are we choosing to place in our mind? What are we choosing to watch? What are we choosing to listen to? And so when you're putting nature in your mind, whether it's a garden or the tree, nature's so beautiful. It's always in balance. It's always talking to each other. It's in rhythm. And so that's what will bring the peace of mind within yourselves. But they're great tools for parents to use. And you can buy them on Amazon. They're signed, they're personally signed by the authors. So it's just a great tool for people to use. It's great for people to have been using them over this period, not just of the lockdown, but also any period, because it's a massive activity that you could do with your family and also help to, you know, get on a really communication level and help to release those emotions and learn how to do mindfulness and meditation with the nature that's around them. And then they could probably go out for walks and really use that mindful moment with the nature. And
I love your colors and your symbology. When I went through the book and I made my choices, it was a wonderful introspective journey, because once you look at what your choices are and how you explain the meaning behind them, I found that to be so on point and so enlightening, because we can be having right feelings or emotions, aches and pains in our body, and not really be aware of what that means for us. Where are we at?
all right. And
Presentations were so good, so insightful.
well, we wanted to keep it very simple and to the point for parents to easily implement, so it's not difficult. Life, there's enough going on as it is, so it's really simple techniques and tips and holistic well-being, so they're not difficult. And also everything in nature, as you know, with your Chinese medicine, with your herbs, with flower remedies, with everything, there's a meaning behind it all, why you're using it and why you're taking it. So it's the whole connection of the mind, body and spirit, really. And it wasn't formed, these books were never formed from that way, but I can see as it's gone along, it is a very deep connection to exactly that. And so, yeah, so it's I think that not just because they're our books, but I just think they're wonderful tools to have in the home. And I use them frequently with myself, with my son, and with friends, and, you know, check what's going on. So it's a great tool. And I think, Stephanie, you've bought a few books and your daughter-in-law has used them. So, you know, they are good tools, not because they're our books, but they are extremely good tools to have. So if you want to get them, they are on Amazon.com, so you can get your copy on there.
Actually, remember that we were at one of our wellness events, and my daughter-in-law Hope was there, and you were sharing the book with her, and she's like, wait, I already have this book. I think my daughter bought it for my granddaughter at the bookstore in Santa Monica.
Yes, Thunderbolts books. Yes, bless him. Love that shop. Yeah, he's been stocking our books for years, so he's great. But we're going to do just a quick guided meditation just to guide everybody out. So this is just a very simple thing that you can do in nature, in your home, wherever you are. So you can either sit outside or be inside, but just, you know, make sure that your feet are grounded on the floor, or your bottom is, and just close your eyes but open up your inner eye, and just take some nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. A good few times. Because with the regulation of the breathing, your mind stays with your breath. And I do love to sit on the grass when I'm doing this outside and listen to the birds. So it's a great mindfulness exercise. If you can get out in the garden, if you can't, no problem. You're going to bring the garden to your mind. And I just want you now to see yourself walking on beautiful green grass. And just feel the grass beneath your feet and the coolness of the grass and the blue sky and the sun. And the tweeting of the birds flying over you. And the beautiful trees moving gently in the wind. And the flowers all around you. Butterflies, maybe squirrels. But just allow your body to connect to this beautiful garden. And just get in harmony with the rhythm of the garden. How tranquil and peaceful and harmonious it is. And you start to breathe in that energy from that garden and that beautiful place into your mind, into your body with each breath. And as you're walking around the garden, you may want to go over and touch the bark of the trees and feel the bark of the tree. You may wish to touch the petals on the flowers and smell them, their delicate beauty, their vibrancy in colour, and their delicate fragrance. You just relax and let go of any tension in your body. And just bathe the moment in the serenity of the nature. And just listen in that moment to yourself, to your mind, to your body. Just listen to your body. What do you need at this moment in time? Your body will always answer you, what do you need? But you can only access that when you're in a quiet space of mind. As you just feel really grateful for all the beauty that's around you. And you feel that gratitude in your heart expanding into your aura. Gratitude is a wonderful way to heal your body. Being thankful and grateful for the beauty all around us. For all the beautiful things that we do have in our life. And when you look at all the trees and the flowers and the blue sky and the sun and the nature, that beauty becomes a part of your mind and your body. And you just allow any negativity to wash away. Just take a moment. Just notice how you're feeling in this divine healing place. As you're fully relaxed, centered, grounded and calmer within yourself. Because you've brought full awareness to this moment, and there only is this moment. There is nothing else. And we are grateful to have this moment together that we can share with others. And when you're ready, you can take some nice deep breaths. And just bring your awareness back to where you are. Back to if you're sitting in a room or outside or on your bed, it doesn't really matter. But just notice that you've given your brain a break, your body, just to connect, to breathe and to notice where you are. and your emotions. And you can do these throughout the day, 2 or 3 times. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So even something as short as that, you can feel that it creates a lot of calmness within yourself.
Totally.
You're doing a brain break throughout the day, so you could do that with a child 2 or 3 times a day. Yeah.
Tell them about Tuesdays. Fridays at 9. Are you still doing your?
Yeah.
Yes, we've still got a great group of people that come together from around the world on Friday morning. We had a very large group last Friday. And just basically, again, I never know what's coming. I do a guided meditation, but it's always connected to nature. So I just, and also healing the planet, coming together as one, being grateful, sending light and healing out. And just collectively sending that love, light, and positive energy out, but also healing, doing a lot of healing within.
And Andrea will put the link in the.
Yes, and then to your YouTube, so you can find Terry Allen on YouTube. You can follow her. She has a wonderful library of these guided meditations. And so, like she said, I have a program of self-care. It's Minutes a Day Mastery. When you feel triggered, right? When you feel stressed, when you feel uncomfortable, if you just take minutes like we just did, we can feel so different. So
yeah, you feel much more grounded and very aware of where you're at. And awareness, we're always going to go out in and out of awareness, so we can't all be mindful all of the day, but at least it brings the awareness back to your body, so you have a clear clarity of where you are and your emotions and what you're putting out, and instead of us being on autopilot.
Yeah, we can bring ourselves back to be conscious, not just be emotionally all freaked out.
I know.
Your YouTube, she also has this wonderful Angels of Light.
They're on there as well.
Channel, right? Mm-hmm. And then your website for your books too, isn't it? Holistic Healing for Children.
Correct.
And then that's with the number 4 instead of the word 4. So you can learn more about the books on holistichealingforchildren.com. You can join Terry's wonderful YouTube channel. You can subscribe. You can access her meditations to de-stress any time of the day.
Yeah, put my YouTube also, Andreas, because they can find the self massage.
Yes, the self massage. Stephanie has a wonderful, wonderful series of self massage, and like she had shared with us last week, the tapping as well. And so these are all tools. That's the whole point. We wanted to give you guys tools, and so Stephanie. You can follow her on YouTube as well, her Instagram as well. So we can make all these are free tools available to you guys that you can use to help yourself anytime you need it. That's the
so we have Oasis Palisades. It's a wellness center in the Palisades, and that's where we host most of our bi-monthly wellness events. And then as a collective group of people, we have Oasis Palisades Retreat Collective. You can find, we have a page on Facebook, but Terry made me think of this. I have Mindful Movement Meditation is a domain name that I created a long time ago for one of the types of exercise that I'm doing. So I've created Oasis Palisades Mindful Movement Fitness.
Oh, nice.
I know. So we've got Oasis Palisades Retreat Collective, and now we have Oasis Palisades Mindful Movement Fitness. Woo, woo, woo.
Stephanie does these amazing belly dancing classes and Zumba classes online that are so fun and really, truly a wonderful way to get our fitness in at home. And so that's another great resource for you guys too. The 11 o'clock on Saturdays is the belly dancing class. And then when is your Zumba class?
It's Zumba for seniors, Zumba Gold for seniors, and anybody wanting to just move low impact. And that's Thursday mornings at 9:30. And then belly dancing is Belly Dancing 101 Fitness. So we go over all the belly dance moves, and then we just sweat it out.
Our invitation for all you guys for this week, just ask yourself, what would be an action you can take during the day to support your wellness? How can you live in a way that supports your wellness? You can find a dance class, you can access a guided meditation from Terry, you can get her book, you can look at your health conditions, some vitamins. All of these are resources for you guys. How can you be kind to yourself and help yourself each day this week? What would one action be? If you have any questions, you can always contact us through the Facebook posts of these videos. Ask us a question. Visit our Oasis Palisades Retreat Collective page.
And
Join
I'm
us.
going to give a shout out to those who are in our retreat collective that aren't here. Well, Tiari White, acupuncturist. She is not with us today, or Claudia Field, our resident health expert and Beamer advocate. And then Maria Iorillo is one of our wellness people who does most amazing facials. And then Tony, she is specialty is herbal dermatology. So we have a great team of people who are here for you. And for me, it's a dream and a blessing to be a part of this collective retreat team, and to, pivoting during the time when we can't be together, and to be here on our Wake Up Wellness Wednesdays is I mean, I didn't even know today. I didn't prepare, but it just works. Whatever we do, it just works.
Share our gems here with you guys each week, so you can see these recordings on our Facebook page. Ask us any questions. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks, guys.
Up for yourselves, and we'll see you next week with some more tools and experiences for you. So be well, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
How good can you stand it? How good can you stand it? Life works. Life works.
Find out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.